Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good weekend and welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Darktide.
Prisoners all secure, ma'am.
I'll check for myself if you don't mind.
Of course, ma'am. But do be wary. Every one of them's a filthy heretic.
That one certainly is. Keep him intact. No accidents. My master wants to interrogate him as soon as we reach the hive.
Of course, ma'am. Upon my life.
This one, however...
Makes you wonder why we even bother shipping trash like that. Save a lot of data slate work just to process the execution notice now.
What do you say, criminal? Shall I put you out of your misery?
And ours, you would.
Be quiet. Well? Nothing to say?
This is a mistake. I am a loyal servant of the throne.
But of course. I'll just let you out now, then.
Shame you'll never get to prove that.
Yeah, well, we're going to see about that, aren't we?
Rhino Terror! We're boarded!
Counterfire now!
Come with us, brother. We have a way out. What do we do about that one?
Nothing. The boxers will be here to feed soon enough.
Yes, the explosion that just tore a 6-foot wide hole in an armoured steel deck and blew my cage wide open did not affect me because I was safely hidden behind the 1-inch thick bars of my cell.
Ship's boarded. Convicts or not, have a duty to the Imperium.
Yeah, it probably... It doesn't pay to overanalyze things too much in this game. Look, it's plot armor, alright. So, this is the beginning
Fragging Poxwalker.
of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. I have to say, this is probably one of the best intros to a game I have ever played. And it's amusing because it happens before the tutorial, so it's very much a case of learning by doing. Although the game does also feature probably one of the best tutorials I've ever seen. We're probably at least 15 minutes away from actually getting to play it. So, well, first-person shooter. Standard first-person shooter controls, even though I don't actually have a gun yet. But I have an entrenching tool. So I get to go all Deathcore of Krieg on their
Don't
asses.
reckon much to the security on this ship.
I need armed air response teams in the Block 87 Bay area. Blast this drone and put an end to them.
I have to say, while I'm not overly impressed with the character models, I mean, they're not bad, but they're nothing special. The environments, however, are amazingly well detailed. And very, very Warhammer 40k. I mean, in particular, the ship interiors. Even though, you know, if you want to lose almost the entire ship anytime you get breached, this is exactly how you should design your ships. Because
Training shining. Good to know.
I mean, the design aesthetic in Warhammer 40k has rarely erred on the side of what's practical.
Where are my caulking reinforcements? Security stations are overrun. We'll have to hold them in prisoner containment.
I mean, this looks great, and that's really always been the way that Warhammer 40k has been designed. What looks cool? And the rule of cool always wins over what's actually practical. Because, I mean, the interiors of these ships, and it was the same in Demon Hunters, they look more like the inside of Gothic cathedrals or massive factories than practical starship design. Because with these massive open layouts, and bearing in mind this is actually an enclosed section of the ship that does actually have airlock bulkheads, but the majority of the ship is just this massive open sprawling examples of architecture, where if you get a single hull breach, basically most of the ship is going to get exposed to vacuum. And I would actually care about that in anything other than a Warhammer 40,000 game. I mean, there were some ships, some military ships in Star Citizen that suffered from this exact problem, where they just clearly didn't think things through. And in Star Citizen that matters. But in Warhammer 40k, not so much. As long as it looks cool. And it does look cool.
Need to reach a different deck. Hope that elevator's still working.
Also, and this is probably some personal bias showing here, but I do love that not everybody has an American accent. Probably not too surprising, given that Warhammer is a British franchise. Even if they do most of their business in America. Even the elevator shaft is completely exposed. So you get a hull breach on one deck, and thanks to the elevators, you've basically exposed the entire ship to vacuum. It doesn't matter. It's fine, as long as it looks good. And now I have a Lasgun.
Great. You come for blood too, criminal? You said you were a loyal servant of the throne.
I did.
Then prove it.
That's right, scumbags. Now I have a Lasgun. Fear me. It's probably the least fearsome weapon in all of Warhammer 40k. The Lasgun, affectionately referred to as the flashlight by those who are unfortunate enough to have to use it. It is a truly terrible weapon. Well, that's not fair. There's nothing wrong with a Lasgun, unless you try and kill a space marine with it.
I'm giving you a chance. Cross me and you're dead. You understand, criminal?
Yes, Mum.
It's a perfectly fine weapon if all you're shooting at are poxwalkers and chaos cultists. And the strength of the Lasgun has never been in the individual, usefulness of the weapon. It's been in the numbers in which it's employed. Imperial Guard regiments wield thousands of these things with mass volley fire. You pour enough shit at the wall, some of it's even going to stick to a spaceman. God, I really hope we don't have to fight any Chaos Marines. That would be bad. No, it'll be fine. They're not going to throw Chaos Marines at us in the intro. They wouldn't do that, right? Because if I see a Chaos Marine, I'm running away.
Understood.
Now, even if I was a fully booted and spurred Imperial Guardsman with my flak armour, helmet, I wouldn't want to fight a Chaos Marine. And I am very much not in that position, so yeah. I am running away if I see anything more dangerous than a Chaos Cultist. So apparently we now have to get to the chopper. Yeah, that was terrible. Let me try it again.
You're
Get to
actually
the
not
chopper.
bad at this.
No, it's still
That's
just as bad.
Militarum training for you.
Militarum? Astra Milli... You're in the Guard, son. Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but Games Workshop have done a spot of rebranding over the course of the last couple of years. It's not the Imperial Guard anymore, it's the Astra Militarum. Yeah, okay. They're not tactical Marines anymore, they're Marine Intercessors. Do you know why? It's not just because it sounds cooler, it's because you can't copyright Space Marine, you can't copyright Imperial Guard, but you can copyright Astra Militarum, and you can copyright Primaris Intercessor. Yeah, funny that. Was that a Jeep? They had a Jeep in here. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Well, we have gotten to the chopper, but I suspect bad news. Ooh, an Ogren and a Zealot. Those are two of the other classes you can play.
Masuzi, get us the hell out of here! Stand by, Zola. The guidance is out. I need a minute to recalibrate.
The other one, of course, being the Psyker. But I just want to be a guardsman.
Great.
Let's give them a
Well, I'm about to get my wish. You know, in a lot of ways this is, well, in a lot of ways this is a horde shooter in pretty much exactly the same way as Aliens Fireteam Elite. And yet, because of the way the game is structured, the mission terminals, it does have more replayability. That was the biggest problem with Aliens Fireteam Elite. I absolutely love that game, but the replayability value was extremely limited because you're playing the same missions over and over and over and over. And while you are technically sort of playing the same missions over and over and over in this, there is more variation. Get in there, my son. Have it. I can see this game having longer legs than Aliens. Purely for that reason. Have we made it? Are we out? I think we're out.
Masuzi, you done any time soon?
Still alive out there. Guidance is reset, so we're out of here.
Distinct African accent on the pilot as well. Her name's Masozi. I don't know, sounds Nigerian?
Well, you coming or not?
Yeah, if you'll have me. Got nothing better to do.
You helped me. Maybe I can help you. No promises. You'll probably wind up dead.
I was dead anyway.
Very poetic. Just don't tell anyone I let an escaped prisoner save my life. Or you'll be more than dead.
Let's get the hell out of here.
And that, kids, is Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Or it's at least the intro. This Christmas is shaping up to be a really good time to be a fan of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. We've got Darktide, we've got the Duty Eternal DLC coming out for Chaos Gate Space Marines. It's shaping up to be a good Christmas. If you haven't already pre-ordered Darktide, and you're just waiting for the reviews to come in from those of us who have pre-ordered and managed to grab ourselves a slice of early access, this game comes out on the 30th of November. And that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and as always, be pure, be vigilant, behave.